Welcome, crafty friends. Annie Collins here for Pajama Crafter Stamps. Today we'll be creating a bee-themed card. I'm going to go over quickly the products I used to create this card. To create this card, I'm using the new Buzzin By Stamp Set. I'm going to pull up the image real quick on my phone for you. And it has two images on here of bees. One of a little bee blowing his dandelion, and the other one is a bee chasing butterflies. Adorable. This is from the new release. Has great sentiments saying buzzing by to say hi, just be you, and let your wishes take flight. That's the one we're going to be using today. And put a little puff of magic, just I forget for you is the other one. All right, so I already stamped my image onto Marshmallow Cardstock, and I've die cut it using some dies from my stash into that little hexagon. Here's our sentiment. I cut that into a sentiment strip, ready to go. I have let me move all these out of our way really quick. From the Bee's Knees pattern paper pack, I pulled this one here. The other side is white with black polka dots, but this one has a honeycomb design, and we're going to use that. I've die cut some glitter cardstock in black glitter cardstock, and I have here's the main piece. The panel is cut 4¼ by 5½, and I've die cut from the center the hexagon, and it's got little scallops, so it's going to be laying. There's our card base. And then I have some other little hexagons here. I have a lighter yellow, which I'm pulling the colors from the pattern paper. And then you can see there's a mid-tone yellow, which is that. This pattern paper, it's not pattern paper, it's cardstock. I've had in my stash. It's already embossed. It came that way, which has little hexagons. So I thought it was perfect for this. All right, so I have those. And we're going to set all that to the side while we color our image. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that. Oh, before we go coloring our image, I do have my embellishment trays with some black rhinestones and some gold ones to coordinate. Now I have my alcohol markers here. I'm going to use my Olo markers for this. And if I remember, I'll put which colors I used and the COPIC equivalent for you in the description. You can use alcohol markers or any coloring medium you prefer. I have my cupcake glue holder ready to go, set. So I'm going to bring in some Heidi Swap color, I don't remember what this is called, Color Shine in velvet black. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't even know if that's available. So if you can't find that, you can use some distress paint in black or anything you like to create some splatter. We're going to do that first. I want to put some black splatter on here to keep into our, add little dashes, little spots of black on our card. So I'm going to adhere the little hexagon and then the medium one here. So I'm going to adhere the small one towards the top and then the other one towards the bottom. And on the bottom one, I'm just going to let it hang off just a little bit. It's okay because once I layer this with the glitter card onto the glitter cardstock, it'll lay nicely. All right, once I have those, I'm going to make sure that I like the placement, which is good. Here's where my sentiment will go towards the top, and in the center will be my image. So I'm going to place this in this little splat box, so just a lid. And then I'm going to grab a little thin, small paintbrush and add some black splatter on here, just for a little interest and texture in our background. Once I get that, I'll set this to the side to dry. Won't take very long, but while we're coloring, that will dry. So I'm going to grab my image and my clipboard. As you know, I like to color on my clipboard just in case I go off. The clipboard picks up anything. So on my clipboard, I just have plain copy paper. So I'm going to start out with my yellows. I have 3 shades of yellow, a light, a medium, and a dark. So I'll place the caps on screen so you can follow the coloring if you're using Olos or any other alcohol markers. So I'm going to start with my darkest first, going around the edge, then I'll do my mid-tone and then my lightest, just coloring that in. So this was part of our new release, which is so cute because there's a ladybug stamp as well. It has a little girl dressed up as a little ladybug. There's this bee set. There's a floral and just a bunch of beautiful new dies Nice. Stamps. I wish I knew what I was talking about. Stamps. I will have this one linked for you in the description box below, but there's also going to be a link to the shop so you can check out the entire release. Um, you'll be so, you'll fall in love with it just as much as I did. So I'm going to have that for you there. All right, so we're just about done there with his head. So I'm going to move on to his body. Again, I start with the darkest, then the mid, then the lightest. And I'm putting the darkest on the outer edge, then the mid, and then the lightest towards the center. So it makes it the body look more rounded, so he looks more dimensional. This is a quick and easy image to color, so that's the best part about that. But if you're not really into coloring, this is a quick and easy one to color. So I'm going to color his shoes in the same yellow, using the same yellow markers here. Except for the sole of his shoes, I'll bring in a gray marker to make it darker. Super quick and easy. He's so cute blowing his little dandelion here. And the other image is, of course, the little bee guy chasing the butterfly, which is so cute. It's just quirky to me because it's a bee chasing a butterfly. Like, hey, let's be friends. All right, so there we get the shoes colored and his little legs, make sure. And then I'm going to color his little antennae here. I'm going to start with our darkest all the way filling that in. But the little, I don't know what you call them, the end of the antennae, the little puffy parts. I know they have a technical name, but I don't know it. I'm going to bring in some light CG3 and CG1. So cool gray 3, cool gray 1, going from darkest to lightest to add some dimension to those. For the wings, I'm going to bring in some blue greens, sort of like minty colors. I'm going to bring in 2 colors. The darker I'm going to put towards the closest to the body, and I'm just flicking that out. Just quick little flicks from one end to the other, and then I'll do the lighter one to blend it all together. I wanted the wings to be noticeably different than the blue sky. So putting this little bit of green in there, but soft green, you'll see that it will look different. For our dandelion, I am going to bring in some blue violets. So the pale, pale purple. I'm just doing his hands. I'm going to do his hands in the same gray colors because I'm not sure if they're just his hands or his gloves, but I'm just going to do them in the gray colors. His little sash, I will do in the same purple. I'm going to be bringing in. For the flowers, I went ahead with little red flowers, so little rosy flowers. And I'm just doing the really quick. They're tiny, but you just need to color them. And I'm going to add yellow centers. I'm bringing in the yellow orange, so it's slightly different than the bee. It's really, you can't really tell too much on screen, but in real life, you can see the little bit of yellow. So for the butterfly that's on here, I am going to color that purple as well so that we have some cohesive purple running through. We have it in the butterfly, the sash, and we'll add a little bit to the center of our dandelion. I didn't want the dandelion to, I know they're like white or, because they're puffy, but I didn't want it to just look plain white, or gray. So that's why I went ahead and put the purple towards the center. And then I'll put some of the cool gray one, which is like really pale, pale gray on the edges. So it's like a purple and gray combo. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit to the other ones there. I'm just dotting it in. And you could barely see it. It does add a nice soft purple, pale purple to it. There we go. So, and now we just have to color our grass and our sky. I'm going to start out with a pale green first. I'm going to color my leaves and just fill in the area so we know where everything is. There we go. And then I'll bring in a slightly darker green to really emphasize and add more texture. So I'll just flick from the bottom going up and fill in all that green area there. Underneath his shoes, I'll put more, make it darker because it's casting a shadow. And then I'll just flick all the way up. There we go. Grass is done. Now we're going to do our sky. I brought in a B03, which is a mid tone blue, and I wanted that to fill in the sky. I go in a circular motion, so if I do leave a little bit of white behind, it's okay, because then that would be our clouds. You know, just if you look at the sky, it's not a solid surface. It's not really a surface, but you know what I mean. There is some white in it. The clouds are always there. Sometimes they're more prominent, sometimes they're not. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just filling that in. So I go in a little circle motion. It's a good way just to fill in the space without giving you striations marks. Okay, I'm going to continue that all the way around. Now it gets a little tricky here around his hair, because his hair, he's like a little fuzzy little bee. So his little hairs go out. So it kind of blends in, and I get a little bit of like a green hue because of the yellow and the blue. But it's okay. I end up keep blending it and working it until we get it how it looks really well. Really, really good. All right, I'm going to finish out our sky. And then we can put our card together. And of course, you can color all of our images with either your alcohol markers, your color pencils, whichever you choose. This is a quick little image, so it goes pretty quickly. So there we go. We're all done. I'm going to flick a little bit more of the yellow here because I realized I missed a little bit. Now we're done with that, but I'm going to bring in my Jelly Roll pen in Sparkle. That's the name of it, Sparkle. And it does exactly that. It adds a little shimmer to anything you do. So I'm going to trace the lines of his wings. Right now you're thinking, not so much, but once I click it in the light, you can see that. You can see how it shimmers. I'll do the same thing to the dandelion. I'm going to add a little bit, just tracing out the edge of it while dotting it. On the dandelion, I just do little dots. On the wings, I just traced it as is. And then there's little, I don't know what else to call it, little things that are floating, little circles. I'm going to do the same thing with that. And I did the same thing to his little puffy ends of his antennae. I forgot the stem of the dandelion, so I'm going to go ahead and fix that. Now for his cheeks, I'm going to bring in a Jelly Roll pen in white. I'm going to just put 3 dots on each cheek, and I'm going to make sure I fill in the whites of his eyes because I got some yellow in there, and you don't want them to have yellow eyes. So I filled those in to make sure they were nice and bright white. And now we're done. So I need to quickly move my clipboard out of the way. Once I do that, you can see it better because now it's with the black background, you can better see everything. So there's that shimmer I was speaking about with the Sparkle pen. So now let's go ahead and bring in the rest of our components to our card. Our splatter is all dry, so we can proceed with the card. Now, my sentiment, as you can see, I stamped it onto white cardstock, and it's too white compared to everything else. To fix that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the yellow marker. I'm going to start with the lighter one and just quickly run it past right over the sentiment. Try it. Now it's blending into my lighter hexagon. So I'm going to bring in the mid yellow and just add a few quick streaks of that. I'm not coloring it full completely. I want some of the lighter to show through. And now it blends in better. It's not so bright there. I know I want my sentiment about there, but I'm going to check to make sure it fits nicely. I'm going to pop, you get some foam adhesive strip here so I can pop up my sentiment. So I'll be placing that on the back, and then I'll pop it on the top there. Let me just trim that off. There we go. That looks good. And I'm going to have some overhang, which I'll place it, and then I'll trim off the excess. So I also zoomed out a little bit because I was quite close up so that you can better see what I'm doing. All right, I'm going to line this up. Get it there. Make sure it's straight. I fuss. There we go. Now anything that's hanging over, I can trim away. There we go. Sorry, I dropped my card. All right, now I'm going to adhere the black glitter cardstock. I'm going to give you a tip. This glitter cardstock has a white backing. and it shows on the side. If you don't want that to show on your card, you can use something like a memento marker or your ink pad and rub it across the edge, go around your perimeter, and now it just looks like a solid core black if you don't want that white edge to show. So that's a quick tip to hide those kind of things if you ever get the cardstock with that white backing like that. Right, I'm placing that. And now I can adhere my pattern paper background, which I do love that white with the black polka dot. I need to get another pack of this paper because I do love that one. I want to get that one and use it for something else. Note to self. All right, so now here we go. I need a little bit more. Now, keep in mind that when you adhere anything to glitter cardstock, it takes a minute to adhere, to stick to it. So it may take a moment for your card panel to stick to the glitter or your image to stick to the glitter. Just the nature of glitter cardstock. I don't know. I don't make it. I just use it. All right. So I'm going to remove the backing off the foam. I put foam tape on this prior, using up all the leftover pieces of my foam tape, as you can see. But I'm going to remove all that, and then we can place this in the center of our card, creating a true focal point for our card. Here we go, lining him up. Okay, press him in place, and I'm being careful, trying not to move him too much because, like I said, it still hasn't completely adhered, and he will move. All right, so I brought in my embellishment trays. These are Pajama Crafter embellishment trays, which I love because they have these little ridges in them, so it holds the embellishments nicely. And my embellishment wand. I'm going to put little dabs of glue throughout the card. I just put a little dot, and then I will place my rhinestones on here. I'm going to mix the black rhinestones and the gold rhinestones, keeping in our yellow and black theme here for our bee. And I'm trying to decide where to put it. I want to put it somewhere near him, but I didn't want it to obstruct anything. So I'm going to start using the embellishment wand to place them on here. Picking the ones I want. I want the smaller ones near the image and then the bigger ones away from the image. So I use this tiny little black one just below the little butterfly, and one near his a gold one near his antennae, and then some near the sentiment. And then just below him in the right hand corner, I will place a little cluster there. And of course, if you're not into any kind of embellishments on your card, don't put them on. It's your card. Do what you like. And there's going to be enough shimmer if you're using glitter cardstock like I did here. So I'm going to give you one more look at our card. Here we go. Look at that. I love the little shimmer and shine. And he's so cute there, blowing his little dandelion, making a wish. Such a cute card. I love this image. Again, this is from the Buzzin By Stamp Set. And the bee's knees pattern paper. Here's what the stamp set looks like. I'll have it linked for you in the description box, as well as the paper pad I used. Everything will be linked for you in the description box. But be sure to stop by Pajama Crafters Stamps shop to look at the entire release that we just had. We just had a hop as well. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you found some inspiration. Here's another look at our card.